This video will walk you through how to set up your class notebook right within Microsoft Teams so that your learners can populate their ePortfolio for themselves for presentation for assessment. So we are here in the Microsoft Teams desktop app, and we're going to walk you through how to set up your team from the very beginning, set up the class notebook, and then how to set up the portfolio for assessment right within class notebook so that each student has access to their own space. So we're going to go ahead and click to create a team, and we're going to create a new team, and it needs to be a class team. That's really important, so just click class team. And I am going to call this one customer service and set it up for the level 5 customer service module. So then you can just go ahead and click next. So this is where you can add your students to the team. You can also add another teacher if there's some teaching going on, but you don't have to do that just yet. You can skip it if you'd like. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and pop in one student just for the purposes of demonstration. And then you click add and then close. Okay, so my team is now set up. So the next thing that I want to do is set up class notebook. So I can just click here to set up class notebook. And set up a OneNote class notebook. You've two options here. You can do it from a blank notebook or from existing notebook content. I'm going to start by doing it from a blank notebook, but next year you can choose to do from existing notebook content and migrate across what you've created this year. But for now, go ahead and click on blank notebook. So before we get started, there's just some little navigational pieces in class notebook that makes it a little bit different from a standard OneNote file. So you have 4 different spaces and they're explained here on screen. We have the collaboration space at the top, which is read and write for everybody. So both teachers and students have read and write access to the collaboration space. You can turn that off if you so wish. Next is the content library. Share learning materials or content with your students. They have read-only view, so they can only view the content in there. They can't edit it. So that can be really useful. Then we have a teacher-only section. This is where only you can see the content. So this is a private space for you to work on. And this is really useful if you want to build content in your class notebook, because you can build it in this section and then push it out or send it out to any of the other sections. Your students cannot see that content. Then there are the student notebook sections. So they are set up as section groups. So each student that is a member of the team gets their own private space, but it's only private to you and to them. So you can view their individual spaces, but they can only see their own. And this is where we will place the portfolio for assessment. So for now, just go ahead and click next. So in here, you can customize the student sections, so you can change them. It's completely up to you how you lay this out. For now, I'm going to get rid of some of these, X that out, and leave it so that we just have class notes. Okay, we don't need to do anything else here for now, but you can go in and add new sections or delete or edit sections later on. So then click create. My class notebook is all set up and ready to go. A little disclaimer here, sometimes it can take up to 24 hours to set up your class notebook. So if you want to use it with a class, I would recommend setting it up in advance. It usually doesn't take too long. In case you don't get access to the class notebook immediately, you haven't done anything wrong. It can just take a little bit of time, but usually it just takes a minute or two. Okay, so like with any other OneNote file, we recommend that you do the work or the building or the editing using the OneNote for Windows 10 desktop app. So same process here. You'll notice we have a little option to open in the browser. So if you just click the little drop down for that, you can select to open in the desktop app. Okay, so here is my class notebook all set up and ready to go. You'll see that I have a welcome space at the top. So again, you can add pieces in here if you'd like to, that will be read only for students, but I'm going to skip that for now. We have the collaboration space in here, which again is read and write for anyone that has access. So both yourself as the teacher and then the students as well. Really useful for group work. The content library drop down. So again, this is read only for your students, but you can share learning materials under this section. Then we have the teacher only section, which is where you can do your building. And then you'll see here that we have one student section in here under FET PD demo. So this is the student section. So I'm just going to close these just to make it a little bit tidy for now. I already have an assessment ePortfolio open and set up and ready to go. So in the app here, I'm just going to switch across to it. So to do that, just click the little drop down and you'll see here I have customer service FET AS23. So this is my assessment ePortfolio. So in here I have the assessor ePortfolio, the learner ePortfolios. And basically what I want to do is move the portfolio section that I have already set up from my assessor ePortfolio across to my class notebook, because the structure is already built and I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So just to show you what I have in here and how it's laid out, the portfolio is the section. Then I have an authorship submission statement and it's ready to go. Then I have assessment 1 skills demo, the brief, a little submission checklist, just so students can tick off when they've completed or submitted each assessment. It's just like a little checklist, which can be useful for students, and like that they can tick or untick the box. And then I have 4 pages set up, one for each task from the brief. So I will be asking them to put their completed piece of work onto each of these pages, and then their marking and feedback pages set up. Then for assessment 2, collection of work, I've set it up slightly differently just so that you can see a couple of different options. Again, page for the brief, submission checklist, which is optional, 1 page for their submission this time. So they're just going to populate this page, and again then their marking scheme is there for them to see so that they know their assessment criteria for the assessment, and then a page for a feedback sheet to be printed in on. So I want to bring that entire page structure across to my class notebook. So it's all ready to go. So basically all I need to do is on the portfolio section, I'm just going to right click and select move/copy. So again, really important, the portfolio section, move/copy. I'm just going to click it and scroll down to my class notebook. Now I want to bring it across to the teacher only section because I want a copy in there in case I want to edit it. So go ahead and click copy. Okay, so that's working away. Now I'm just going to switch back to my class notebook. So the class notebook is the notebook that's attached to the team. Okay, so in my teacher only section, you will now see that I have portfolio, all set up with all the pages and the structure all as I had it in the ePortfolio. Okay, you can also build it out in here from scratch if you'd like to, if you're starting afresh. Very simple and straightforward. So I'll walk through that now. So I'm going to show you how to set it up directly in here in Class Notebook if you didn't have an ePortfolio to work from. I'm just going to do one assessment technique so that you get the gist. But again, recommend doing it in the teacher only section. And down the bottom left, you just click to add section. And I'm going to call this one assessment portfolio, just so that it's different from the one I already have. You can press enter to name it. Okay, so the first page that I want to add under the assessment portfolio is the authorship. Statement. Okay. And then I want to add a page for, let's go with collection of work. Okay. And then I'm going to add a page for the brief and the submission and the marking and the feedback. But you can customize this setup to suit you. It's just really important that you have the authorship statement, the brief, the submission pages, and then the marking and feedback. You can combine them if you'd like to, and it depends on how you do your marking and give your feedback. Underneath the submission, I'm going to add a couple of pages. So task 1, task 2, and you get the gist from that. Now, you'll notice on the other one I had a little folder, and it was nested, so it dropped down. So I'm just going to show you how I would do that with the little folder icon. So on the keyboard, I press the Windows key with the full stop, and you'll see I get my little emoji menu, but I just want the folder option. So that's in there now. And basically what I'm going to do is make all of these pages sub-pages of that collection of work. So you just click on them and make them sub-pages. And that's how you nest them in under the little drop down. Okay, so you'll see there I can close that just to make it tidy. So if you wanted then, say for example if your module had a skills demo as well, you can now just add a new page, skills demo. Again, I want to pop my little folder in. There it is. And this time I need to promote it because I don't want it in here. Okay. And add a page underneath this, brief, and so on and so on. And again, use the little sub-page so that they become drop-downs. Okay. So that is how you would go about setting up the structure in here if you wanted to. So next is where the magic happens. And this is where you can send your portfolio to your student section, so that each of your students will get their own portfolio tab. Now again, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this, depending on what way you like to work, but also most importantly, your students' needs. So for example, with this, I can send the entire portfolio to the student section, which would mean they will get the authorship submission, they will get the first assessment, the skills demo, and then the second assessment, the collection of work. But if I do that, they get access to all of it at the same time. So depending on the course or the students that you're working with, that may or may not be a good idea. but I'm going to start off by showing you how to do that anyway. So really all we do on the portfolio in the teacher only section, we right click, move copy, again scroll down just to my class notebook, select the student and click copy. Okay, so now you'll see that the entire portfolio section is available to my student FetPD demo in their own section of the class notebook. I can see it, they can see it, and they can work on it, and they can edit it, and they can populate it, but none of the other students can. If you had 10 students in here, they would appear nested underneath each other. But for the purposes of demo, I have just got one. Okay, and you can add or include new students as they join the team. They will automatically get their own section in here. Okay, so that is one option. The other option is, what if I want to do it kind of over time, so I only want to give them piece by piece. So again, the options here, if you had multiple students, there is a class notebook tab at the top. So say for example, if I had 20 students in here, 30 students in here, I can distribute a new section. To do that, just click on class notebook and then distribute new section. So this will add a new section to every single student section that's in here. So just click on new section, distribute new section, and I'm just going to call this assessment ePortfolio this time, just to try and keep them different, and I'm going to send that out. Okay, so that will distribute to every student section that is in here. It might just take a second. So now you'll see my assessment ePortfolio section has been distributed, so it's there. So if I wanted to kind of send the pieces one by one, I have the option to do that. So I'm just going to come back to the portfolio, and again I can use the distribute page to do this. So basically I want to send the authorship submission statement to the assessment ePortfolio of all the students that are in here in class notebook. So again, select the page that you want to distribute, click on the class notebook tab, click on distribute page, and then you get to choose which section you want it to go into. I want it to go into the assessment ePortfolio and click distribute. Okay, so you'll see that that's working away, and that's done. So we'll just check. So there it is. And it should load up. So that is ready to go for the students to work on themselves. Again, if I had 10 students in here, that would appear in the 10 students portfolio. So that's nice and handy. So back to my portfolio in the teacher only section. What I want to do is send the nest for assessment 1 skills demo to the assessment ePortfolio. You can use the distribute pages option and distribute each of these pages, but you do have to do it individually. So depending on how many students you have, it might be better to use the copy option or the distribute page, but you can figure that out depending on the number of students that you have. I'm just going to go ahead and show how to use the move copy option. Because it's a nest, I need to make sure that it's closed if I want all of the associate pages underneath it to travel across. So close down the little nest by clicking on the drop down, right click, move copy, and again find your student. I want it to go into the assessment ePortfolio and I'm going to click copy. So in here now, you'll see that I have my full nest with all of the associate pages, the submission checklist, and the pages ready to go for learners. Okay, so that is how you would go about setting up your assessment ePortfolio or your portfolio to work with for learners. There's a couple of different options there, and you do have flexibility with the actual layout. Next thing I want to show you is how to lock a page so that the student can no longer edit it. Okay, so again, up here in the class notebook tab, you have some handy tools. I'm just going to pretend that I want to lock the authorship submission statement, but basically all you do is click review student work and then review student work. So this opens up a little window on the right hand side. I'm just going to select the assessment ePortfolio because that's where this page lives, and click next. Okay, now you might think, oh, I'm missing pages here, only the authorship statement is showing up, but my student has all of these other pages. So how do I find them? You can just click on more pages and select the slider to include pages that were copied from the content library, and then you can select any of them that you'd like to work on. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and click the submission statement. So again, my first student is in here. I only have one, but all of yours would appear in here. And say, for example, if the deadline was just now, you can click on page locking, select all of your learners and apply it so that that page is now locked for all of them, so they can't edit that page. Okay, and that is a really, really useful feature in there. So the pages are locked. You can unlock them as well, but that's just how you do that. Okay. Final thing that I want to look at is how you then migrate or bring that content back over to your assessment ePortfolio, and it's basically just a reverse of the process. So I would recommend having the two notebooks open in the OneNote for Windows 10 desktop app. So I have the customer service notebook, which is my class notebook, and then I have customer service FET AS23, which is my assessment ePortfolio. So basically, I'm going to click back to the assessment ePortfolio, and I'm going to imagine that space 1 is going to be my FET PD. So I'm going to right click on that, and I'm just going to rename section group. So FET PD demo. So my student is now ready to go, and you've noticed it's moved to the top because we're alphabetical. So I want to bring up the learner marking sheet that I have here into this section. So right click, move copy, and I want it to go into the FET PD demo section, copy. Okay, so it should be there. It is, great. Now I need to switch back to my class notebook to go find the FET PD demos portfolio. So just click the little drop down, switch back to my class notebook. Portfolio is here. Just imagine that it's all ready to go. So I want to copy the entire thing across. You can do it piece by piece. It's completely up to you. Again, depends on how you work. Right click, move copy. This time I am looking for my assessment ePortfolio, which is here. There's my FET PD demo student. Click on it, copy. Okay, so when we click back across into the assessment ePortfolio, you'll see that FET PD demo now has their full portfolio over here. And just imagine that that's fully populated, marked, graded, feedback given, all ready to go. Okay, So I hope that video was helpful in walking you through. Best of luck with it.